Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon. Welcome to our next step presentation. My name is Brandon Landrum, and we are a part of the Admissions and Outreach Office. We're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. We also do have one special guest with us. So let's go ahead and start it off. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to my co-presenter and have her introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Melissa Davila Guerra, and I am happy to be here with you guys. I'm an admissions counselor, and I would like to pass the baton to Nick.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nicholas Clemens, admissions counselor recruiter. Welcome. I'm going to have my bud there, Salvador, introduce himself next.
Hello, everyone, and I'm also an admissions counselor and recruiter, and then I'll follow this up with Lucia.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name is Lucia Serrata, admissions counselor, and we'll let our other colleague, Megan, introduce herself.
Thanks, everybody. Hi, everyone. Megan Houston. I use she, her pronouns. I serve as the senior coordinator for orientation here at Cal State. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for the introduction, everyone. Before we get started, just wanted to mention a couple of features that we have. In the chat, we do have our Q&A section. That's where you could ask any of the questions that you may have regarding admissions purposes or orientation related for the presentation today. We have our admissions counselors that are going to be there to answer those questions for you. And then we'll also be putting information into the chat that if there's anything that you may need to know, we'll be putting in the chat. So right now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentation on our next steps. All right, so again, thank you for attending today. We're going to talk about our next steps for CSUSB. So the first thing that we're going to cover is how to submit your transcripts. So there are two different ways. The first way we're going to talk about is our electronic transcripts. Most institutions have an electronic transcript provider. So if you're transferring over from a community college and you're trying to figure out like, how can I send a transcript electronically? You definitely want to see what provider that your institution offers. Most transcript providers are mostly Parchment, Naviance, XSAP, Credential Solutions, but there may be another one. So just check with them. Talk to your school for instructions on how to submit the electronic transcripts. If your institution does not already have CSUSB contact information on file, feel free to email the admissions apps at csusb.edu for anything to complete your order. And then documents can be sent via email to CSUSB. Documents sent documents sent via email to CSUSB will not be considered official. So you can't just send a transcript via email and expect it to be official. It does have to be sent from a third party or in a sealed envelope to us. And then only electronic transcripts sent directly from the institution through an approved third party will be accepted. So now going on to physical transcripts that have been printed by your institution must arrive at CSUSB sealed in the original envelope in order to be considered official. Any document received without a seal will automatically be considered unofficial. So if you bring a printout to us, to our front desk, and you turn it in, it will be considered unofficial. So you want to make sure that all documents for transcripts are sealed in the envelope and have a graduation date on there as well, or the final dates for all your grades. Also, you could bring it to us. Our office is located in University Hall, room 107, inside of the University Hall building at the main campus. If you're going to drop off at the Palm Desert campus, the transcripts should be delivered to the Mary Stuart Rogers Gateway building inside the lobby. And then transcripts should also be mailed to us. Our address is as follows: 5500 University Parkway, San Bernardino, California, 92407. And just attention it to the Office of Admissions and Outreach, and we'll receive it. So moving on to how to accept and decline your admissions. I know right now you have until May 1st to pay your confirmation deposit fee. We're going to walk you through that step right now. So step one, you want to make sure that you log into your My Coyote account. When you go to the homepage, it's at the top right corner of it. It'll say My Coyote. Once you log in and put your ID number and your password, you'll be able to log into it. The second step is you're going to go to My Tasks. Once you go to the My Task bar, you're going to see a lot of different tiles. You're going to click on accept and decline tile. And at this tile, it's going to take you to this next window, which looks like this. So all applicants can see this link, but only admitted students will be able to proceed for paying your admissions, whether if you want to accept or decline your offer. Step 5 is you're going to read through everything. It's important that you turn off your pop-up blockers before proceeding. Pop-up blockers could affect going to the next screen. So you're going to definitely want to turn off all pop-up blockers before proceeding to the next screen. When you get to step 6, this is where you make your decision, whether you want to accept your admissions offers to CSUSB or if you want to decline your admissions offers to CSUSB. So make sure that you click the appropriate choice for you. If you accept, you just make sure that you read over everything that's there, the term that you're applying for, the major that you're going into. And once you read everything over correctly, you're going to go and click on confirm acceptance. So now step 8, you're going to be able to pay your enrollment confirmation deposit of $100. You'll simply read through the directions, click on ECD now, pay ECD now. You're going to read through the make a payment portal and just make sure everything is correct there. You're going to click on next. When you get to the make a payment portal right here, you're going to click on make a payment. Then it should be on their enrollment confirmation deposit. Keep in mind that it may not be at the top of the page, so you may have to scroll down and look for enrollment confirmation deposit. Once you find it, you're going to click on that and click on view details. Once you view the details, you'll be able to add payment to your cart. Once you add the payment to your basket, you'll scroll down and just make sure that everything is good. Select continue. After you press continue, it's going to give you a lot of different options for method of payment. So it's $100. You can pay with your credit card, you can pay with your bank account, or you can use your Coyote Cash. So once you're paying online, for any credit or debit charge, there is going to be a $2.65 service fee charge, and you just have to make sure that you agree, that you acknowledge that you see that you will be charged an additional $2.65. Your grand total is going to be $102.65. Make sure that you provide an email that you're going to check so you can receive a confirmation. Sometimes the confirmations don't come exactly right at that moment, so it may take some time, a couple minutes, to get it to you. But once you get that confirmation and you pay your payment, it'll look like this, and the confirmation will be sent to you. And that's how you'll know that you've been admitted and you accepted your offer here at CSUSB. So important dates coming up. As you can see in the past, February 15th, partial official transcripts were due. Then on March 2nd, we had the FAFSA and California Dream Act application priority deadline. So May 1st, as I said again, is when students could accept or decline their admissions offer and pay for it on that day or before that day of May 1st. You could disregard the June 15th. That's for our first year students for our orientation registration. However, by July 15th, you might make sure that you submit your transcripts to us, your final transcripts to us. Any final documents that you may have or we're requesting are due by July 15th. And our transfer orientation registration deadline is also that date as well. So if you do have any questions about that, please ask in the Q&A chat. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to actually pass it to my colleague, Melissa Guerra, and she's going to talk about the change of major and the appeals process. So without further ado, I give to you, Melissa Guerra.
Thanks so much, Brandon. So just give me a minute to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Okay, so can anybody, thumbs up for my counselors if you can see the what if I don't qualify page?
We can see
Perfect.
it.
All right, everybody. So we are going to be talking about the appeal process. And so this is the actual webpage of the appeal process that we have here at CSUSB. And so first off, what is an appeal? So an appeal is an opportunity for a student that was denied to request to be reevaluated. So as admissions counselors, when we first review your application through CSU Apply, that information you provided was self-reported information. And oftentimes this information, we can make mistakes, our plans can change because we're applying a year ahead, or we just forgot to mention that we're in progress or planning to take certain courses. And so that can cause for your application to get denied. And so again, the appeal process is you requesting the opportunity to be reevaluated, but this time you would be providing an official transcript for us to make those corrections and determine if you do in fact qualify. And so that is what the appeal is. And so the appeal process is only available to undergraduate students. There is certain, this webpage is super helpful and provides a lot of great information. So please take your time reading it if you're considering filing an appeal. The webpage does provide opportunities if you're an incoming freshman or if you're a transfer student. I know that I have transfers here in the room with me today. For you to really see what are the transfer requirements. I want to make sure that I do meet those transfer requirements before I go ahead and file an appeal. And so if you go ahead and double check that you do meet those transfer requirements and you still feel that you would like to file an appeal and be reevaluated, then you want to go ahead and scroll to the bottom of the page. And these are the reasons why you can file an appeal. And so you're going to go right here to submit an online appeal, and you're going to select one of the above 4 reasons. So you can either select credit not considered during the initial review of the application. So this is for transfer students. This option is usually for students that perhaps forgot to enter maybe spring semester as in progress or planned. And so you are missing units, and that's why your application got denied. But this would be a good option for you to let us know that you are in fact enrolled in classes for the spring. There's also miscalculation of transferable college credit. So this is typically only for transfer students. And this is when a transfer student maybe forgot to indicate that they attended a different community college and also have units from that school. So that's what that option is. Then you also have applied to an impacted major and wish to be considered for another program. So this option is if you maybe perhaps apply to nursing, our #1 impacted program, and because it's so impacted, you didn't meet the nursing prerequisites or something and you were denied, but you wish to still start at CSUSB in the fall, but maybe under a non-impacted program. And so that's the reason you would select there. And then lastly, there's special circumstances as an option as well. So once you hit that submit online appeal, you can fill out start filling out the information. You're going to select one of the reasons, and depending on the option you select, the form is going to change. And so it does allow you to briefly explain the grounds of your appeal if you want to provide additional information for the appeals committee to consider when they're reevaluating you. And so that is the appeal. So again, depending on the reasoning that you're selecting, the appeals page is going to change a little bit. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about the change of major. So let's say that you applied back in October and you've now realized that you want to change your major. So you can actually change your major through your My Coyote student portal. And there's actually an instructional video and guide that walks you through the process to change your major yourself through your My Coyote portal. So I highly recommend this webpage under the registrar's office. However, let's say that you already paid your confirmation deposit and you now want to change your major after you've paid that deposit. In that circumstance, you no longer can change the major yourself. You have to go through the change of major PDF, and then you're going to submit that official PDF to the office of the registrar. And that's because we already fully admitted you under that major that you originally selected. And because we're kind of, in the process of wrapping up your application, and now you're asking to change it to a different major, we have to kind of start from the beginning again. And so that's why we ask for the PDF. If you're planning to, let's say, change it to an impacted program, you can still be considered for an impacted program if you would like to submit a change of major form to an impacted program, except for nursing. So nursing is the only program that you cannot change into. If you wish to be a nursing student, you have to originally apply to the nursing program under the CSU Apply application and be admitted as a pre-nursing student. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to meet your request of changing into the nursing program, and that's due to the high volume of impaction for nursing. So that's all that I have. I don't know if I missed anything, Brandon. Let me know.
No, you covered everything. I think you did a great job. So
Okay, awesome. But we'll definitely want to take your questions towards the end. I do want to give space to my colleague Megan from Orientation First Year Experience. So Megan, I hand it off to you now.
Super. Let me get my screen share here going. And let's go. Okay. Can y'all see that okay? Yeah, perfect. All right. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Megan Houston. I serve as the Senior Coordinator for Orientation here at Cal State. I serve as part of the Orientation and First Year Experience team. So not just orientation, but all things first year experience that includes our transfer students. We do have an amazing Transfer Student Success Center and program, all part of our unit that aims to serve you, not just in your transition to Cal State, but during your time here at Cal State as well. So regardless of where you're transferring from, please know that we have resources and space here for you on campus and hope to guide you through and out of your journey of CSUSB and onto whatever life endeavors you may have. I'm going to talk a little bit about orientation, what to expect, things to know. We'll talk a little bit about how to register and kind of some of those nitty-gritty details that you'll need to know. So I know there are a couple of questions in the Q&A. Yes, as transfer students, orientation excuse me, is a mandatory program that all new transfer and first year students need to complete. It is important for us, especially as we come out of this pandemic, that we spend time introducing you to campus, the resources, and the people that are here to serve you. So not just the fine folks who got you here that are on this call with me, but the folks that are going to support you through your time here at CSUSB, regardless of how long you're here. So orientation aims to do that. All new students are required to attend orientation, and you will not be able to register for classes until you do so. So I know someone on the Q&A also noted, what's that SOAR hold? So the SOAR hold is the orientation hold. It is what is preventing you from registering for classes until you complete orientation. So that hold stays until you complete the orientation day. The hold does not go away just once you register. So please make note of that. That's what that SOAR hold is. Again, until you complete the orientation program in full, that hold will be on your account. Let's talk a little about what orientation is. We've spent the last couple of years really spending some time thinking about what orientation includes. We know that most of your questions are around academics. What classes am I taking? How do I know that this is the right major? And even as transfer students, you still might be questioning some of those academic decisions, right? And so orientation, we really aim to, again, connect you to what we consider the most critical of information to get you started at CSUSB. Orientation is not the one and only stop. We hope that throughout fall semester, you find some space and time to get connected to some other resources, but orientation really is that introduction to campus. So first stop, pre-orientation. And I should talk about registering first. This is a little backwards. So after registering for orientation, we have a pre-orientation, and I'll talk about that at least in timelines in a little bit. The pre-orientation is some online modules. There's about 7 modules for you to complete in one sitting. If you were to do it in one sitting, it takes no more than 90 minutes. It's relatively short, but the pre-orientation really serves as an introduction to CSUSB resources. Academic information, we'll start throwing out a lot of tools and resources that you'll hear more about at orientation. So things that a pause report, things like a MyCap, some of these things that are really CSUSB specific, we'll start introducing you to some of those tools. So once you get to orientation, hey, I know what that word is. I know what a pause report is, right? So the pre-orientation will start doing a lot of that introduction for you. Orientation is on campus, so an in-person program, again, connecting you to more of those resources and services. Academic advising is, again, we know that's something that y'all are most anxious about or most curious about, is figuring out what on earth I'm registering for fall semester. But the other important part for orientation for us is some peer connection, knowing that you're not transferring alone. Even if you know folks that are coming, they may or not be coming with the same major. They may or may not be coming in the same semester. So we want to find space and time for you to connect with our current students, but also getting to know those around you, as you'll probably end up in the same classes as them, or you'll probably end up seeing them on campus somewhere. So that peer opportunity, that peer connection is very important to us. And then fall semester, you'll hear lots from your Transfer Student Success Center about programs and events and things we'll be hosting, again, to get you connected to campus. Again, taking advantage not just of being able to log on to a Zoom session, but finding space to get connected to campus, to get engaged, and hopefully make the most of your CSUSB experience while you're on campus with us. So throughout fall semester, and not, I should say, not just fall, but all year, lots of opportunities to find spaces to get connected to your Transfer Student Success Center, to opportunities on campus, and a whole lot of other good stuff. So in order to register for orientation, you are going to need to have accepted your admission. So that whole process that Brandon just walked you all through in terms of accepting your admissions, paying your deposit. After you have paid your deposit, you need to allow 24 to 48 hours for the system to process that payment, recognize that your payment has been made, and then you'll be able to register for orientation. Registering for orientation is online via your My Coyote portal. So you're going to get real familiar with it even before you start school here, but online via your My Coyote portal. And we'll walk you through those steps as well. There's also a quick tutorial video, and I think I have it pasted in the chat. So there you go. There's a quick registration tutorial video as well. And of course, make sure that you have your schedule and availability so you can plan accordingly. For transfer students, our sessions are in July, and I know it's really hard to have a crystal ball, 3 months in advance, but you are choosing your orientation date when you register for orientation. So to make sure, if you have family vacation or other commitments, that you're planning accordingly around those dates. So registering for orientation from the CSUSB homepage, you're going to find the My Coyote portal link at the top. Again, you're going to be super familiar with your My Coyote portal. Everything is done via this portal, so you'll get to know it fondly. Log in, you're going to go to My Tasks, much as where you paid your deposit and accepted your admissions, and you'll find orientation registration there. Orientation registration, not to be confused with the pre-orientation that I believe is the coyote head right below it. So register for orientation via the green and yellow arrows. You're going to see the Welcome to Orientation registration page. It's a long page, so you need to scroll down all the way to the bottom of it to click register now. My recommendation to you is not to do this on a phone, as this system is not super phone friendly. It's doable, just a little more of a pain in the butt. So I definitely recommend doing this via a computer if you are able. You will find a link to register now. It will ask you on the left-hand side for some personal contact information. It will ask you for your phone number. You'll verify I was admitted for fall of 2022, what your major is. Cody is coming in as a computer systems major, and verifying that, providing an emergency contact information for us. And then once you hit next, you will be then able to choose an orientation date. So currently, you'll see a number of dates available in July posted on this site for you. These dates do fluctuate based on when they fill up. So I can tell you Monday, July 11th is actually already full at this point. But you'll see dates rotating through those sessions as well. Sorry, you'll click, so choose a date, and at the bottom, accept the policies. I recommend reading the policies. Always make sure that you read what you're signing on to, right? So accept the policies and then move on. Your final step will be the orientation registration confirmation page. So I recommend either screenshotting this, printing it for yourself. You will get a confirmation email from our system. It will take 24 to 48 hours for it to come out to you. But at the least, my recommendation is to save that page for your records so you at least have notice of that. Details to know. So registration is open, even if you've been admitted at this point, and even if you have not paid your deposit, or if you've been admitted and have paid your deposit, you've been receiving communications from us inviting you to register now. Our last email just went out on Monday, or yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So you should have received that communication. Even if you haven't, again, you now know where to go. Check out the tutorial video in the chat as well. So registration is open. After you register, the pre-orientation will be accessible to you about 48 hours afterwards. However, if you look at it like tomorrow, it's not entirely up to date yet. So for fall 2022, the pre-orientation will open in early May. We will send a communication when it is ready and available to you. Even though it's available in May, if you decide to just get it done and have it done in early May, pre-orientation is really built to be complementary to orientation. So even if you peruse it in May, my recommendation is that in the couple of days prior to your orientation session, you actually go back into it, as again, a lot of those words and CSUSB acronyms that you'll hear at orientation are introduced to you in that pre-orientation. So if you are a go-getter and on the ball and get it done in May, I definitely still recommend going back and checking it out just before your orientation session. Orientation, again, in-person programs on campus. Your attendance is required to remove the orientation hold and to be able to register for classes. There is an orientation fee, so it is not that $100 deposit. That is your confirmation that you are attending CSUSB. That's a credit towards your tuition in the fall. The orientation fee is an additional fee to that. It is $79.56 this year, and is added to your fall semester tuition statement. So for orientation specifically, there is no money due up front. That fee is added to your tuition statement after you've registered for classes and after or for fall semester, excuse me. And again, as Brandon and Melissa shared, registration deadline for transfer students for orientation is July 15th. So transcript deadline and orientation registration deadline, two very important deadlines. Do not miss those. We want to make sure that we see you in the fall. A whole lot of words, but again, attendance is mandatory. You need to complete the entire program in order for your orientation to be, your orientation requirement to be satisfied. Orientation is separate, and I'll share dates here in a second, whether you are a San Bernardino campus student or a Palm Desert campus student. The orientation system reads which campus you were admitted to. So if you see Palm Desert dates, it's because you were admitted to the Palm Desert campus. San Bernardino, San Bernardino. Our attendance is verified throughout the program. So we do attendance in a variety of formats throughout the day. So we are aware if you cut out at lunch and decide not to come back. So attendance throughout the entire day is required and mandatory for, again, your hold to be removed. So in order to register for classes, attendance in full throughout the entire day. I don't think I need to say that anymore. I think we got it covered. Things to expect at orientation. So again, we know that most of your questions revolve around academics. And again, we've designed orientation in a way that we think, again, introduces you to those topics, but also will prepare you to register for classes with the support of the advising folks that you'll meet at orientation. So again, pre-orientation, we'll start talking about the tools and resources and services. In-person orientation, we'll have a number of topics, but we talk about money matters. So we spend some time with financial aid and student financial services to talk about the money process here on campus, things that you need to know. You'll spend some time with your Transfer Student Success Center folks and getting to know them and all that they have to offer you. And then the entire afternoon of your orientation day is academic advising. So time with your academic units, the advisors, getting familiar again and spending time playing with some of the online tools and resources we have for you, preparing you to be able to register for your fall classes. And as I mentioned, that peer support, that peer connection is super important to us. So you'll have time to connect with your orientation leaders who are current students and are amazing, and other new transfer students as well. For the San Bernardino campus, these are the dates that we currently have available. I will share that there are other dates beyond those. So you're like, yo, Megan, I know I'm already on vacation through July 25th. Just register for a date and then reach out to us and we can reschedule you for a later date if you know that you're not available for those already. These are just the dates that I wanted to share that are currently available for registration with the exception of July 11th. So again, the system is already open. We monitor it quite quickly or quite closely in terms of capacities and seats being full. So if there's a date that doesn't show up, it is likely because it's at capacity. So again, currently you won't see July 11th as an option, but you'll see all those other ones as well. Now for the Palm Desert campus, because our Palm Desert campus transfer class is relatively small, there is currently one date scheduled. That is Thursday, July 11th. So our Palm Desert campus actually kicks off our transfer sessions for us this summer. So we'll see our Palm Desert campus students first before we start seeing our San Bernardino. Again, several more dates at the San Bernardino campus. Our Palm Desert transfer community is pretty small, so one date currently available there for the Palm Desert campus. Reiterating important deadlines, because again, we can't say this enough, right? So your $100 confirmation deposit is due on May 1st. Your registration deadline for orientation is July 15th, as is your final transcript deadline. I'll share this as well is part of the reason that orientation for transfer students is in July is that it coincides pretty closely with transcripts. So by the time you get to orientation, for the most part, pending that you got them in well before July 15th, which is what all of us will recommend to you, is that they will be evaluated. You'll know which classes you're coming in with for your transfer credits and which classes you're eligible to register for. So that's why they are pretty close in hand. So you really know what you're coming in with from Chafee or RCC, and so that you're prepared based on that information and what you can register for come fall semester. There's our contact information. I do want to share as well, I know there are a couple of questions in the Q&A prior or while Brandon and Melissa were talking. So course registration. So as indicated several times, you'll be able to register for your fall classes after completing orientation. So your registration date, let's say you have not registered for orientation day for an orientation session, your registration appointment, if you look on your My Coyote portal right now, will reflect as like July 30th or August 1st, as that's our last in-person session. As soon as you register for an orientation date, your registration appointment will actually change to reflect your orientation date. So if I'm registering for July 12th, my registration appointment will change to July 12th. So as soon as I complete orientation and my orientation hold is gone, when you're home and after dinner on July 12th, you can sit down and register for classes. So just know that if you see those dates change, that's why. And again, how registration kind of comes in line with your orientation attendance. So I want to share that snippet as well as a part of that. I know there's lots of questions in the Q&A. So Lucia, I'm not sure if you're facilitating, if you want me to just go through things.